प्रमाणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तं हदेवम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। ॐ शक्तिसमुद्रसमुत्थतरङ्गं दर्शितप्रेमविजृम्भितरङ्गं संशयराक्षसनाशमहास्त्रं यामि गुरुं शरणं भववैद्यम् अद्वैतत्त्वसमाहितचित्तं प्रोज्ज्वलभक्तिपटावृतवृत्तं कर्मकलेवरमद्भुतचेष्टं यामि गुरुं शरणं भववैद्यं। नरदेवदेव जय जय नरदेव। तं देशिकेन्द्रं परमं पवित्रं विश्वस्य पालं मथुरै यतीन्द्रं हिताय नृणां नरमूर्तिमन्तं विवेक आनन्दमहं नमामि। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे परतत्त्वे सदा लीनो रामकृष्णसमज्ञया यो धर्मस्थापनरतो वीरेशं तं नमाम्यहम्। My very respectful salutations to all the seniors and junior sannyasins present here, including our most revered Shankhadeksha Maharaj, Sahashandaksha Maharaj, and all the authorities of Belur Math, and the president of this evening function, Swami Vivekananda, and my co-speaker, Swami Ekachittanandaji, the brahmachari is present here, and all the devotees of Ramakrishna Vivekananda. So in the short time allotted to me, I have decided not to speak on Swami Vivekananda, because we always believe that Vivekananda begins with Chicago Parliament of Religions, his brothers and sisters of America, all his great teachings, but we rarely consider Narendra, who was trained and groomed by Sri Ramakrishna, and how he flowered into Vivekananda later on. That's less studied, less contemplated, and less meditated upon, but it's the most vital. Swami Yatishwarananda once funnily said, remember when Swamiji says, I don't care for my mukti, he had had it already. We are carried away by Swamiji's oratory and some of the extraordinary bombshells of thoughts which he hurled at us. But remember Swami Vivekananda's Narendra, how he cried to Sri Ramakrishna, how helpless he was before he realized the highest. That is a saga which we need to meditate upon for our own spiritual edification. Vedavyasa, to whom we owe all that is called the spiritual heritage of India, the great spiritual legacy of the Bharatiya Jnana Parampara, created two extraordinary characters in his Puranas. The infinite and the absolute, as it were, divided itself into two halves, and these two halves were made to undertake endless penance at the Badarika Ashrama for the good of humanity. These two entities are named Nara and Narayana. This Nara Narayana Leela is the underpinning behind all the incarnations who have come to bless humanity. When Sri Krishna came as the Narayana, Arjuna was the Nara Rishi. When Sri Ramachandra came, Mahavir Hanuman was the Nara. When Buddha came, Ananda was the Nara. When the Lord incarnated as Jesus the Christ, Saint Peter was the Nara. When Sri Ramakrishna came as the Avatara of the present age, Swami Vivekananda, Narendra was the Nara Rishi. We know the story as told by Swami Ramakrishna himself. He said, my mind was soaring higher and higher, and even beyond where the realm of the Devadevis existed, and beyond the human and the mental and the causal realm, I saw 7 rishis steeped in meditation and samadhi. As I was looking on, the luminosity which was surrounding, enveloping everything, a portion of that light condensed in the form of a small child, and it came, clasped the neck of one of the rishis and said in a very sweet voice, I am going, you too should come with me. At the divine touch of this child, the rishi woke up from his samadhi and looking upon this child whom he recognized as the darling of his heart, smiled assent, again went deep into samadhi. When Sri Ramakrishna saw Narendra for the first time, he could recognize Narendra as the Nara Rishi from the Sapta Rishi, and we recall the incident where Sri Ramakrishna takes Narendra to the gold veranda with folded hands. He prays to him, Jani Prabhu, tumi Shri Chirantan, Shanatan, Puratan, Nara Rishi, Jiva Kalyanir Jonno, Manushya Sharir Dharan Kore Eshecho. I know you are that Nara Rishi and you have assumed this human body for the good of mankind. Hitaya Nrinam Naramurtimantam Viveka Anandamaham Namami, in the words of Swami Ramakrishna ji. What was Narayan's reaction? Narayan immediately thought, he was a teenager, you should remember, Mahabodho Pagol, Ami Kothakar Nararishi Holam, Ami Vishwanath Dattir Chele. Mark this word, I'll come back to that again. Vishwanath Dattir Chele, Amake abar Nararishi abar ki. Ekdam Bodho Pagol. After some time, when he came back to Sri Ramakrishna's room in Dakshineshwar, Sri Ramakrishna was speaking normally to everybody, smiling and joking. Narendra Datta could not reconcile this. Just now I saw this mad talk of this person calling me Nara Rishi while I am the son of Vishwanath Datta. Next moment I see is absolutely normal. He could not reconcile. A deep conflict was raging in his heart. We should deeply meditate about these incidents because it is not so easy to understand Sri Ramakrishna, and Narendra struggled for years and years. When Nivedita could not surrender to Vivekananda as much as Sister Christine and Miss MacLeod did, Nivedita was very unhappy. She felt, why is it that I am not able to surrender to my master? Swami Vivekananda read the unspoken word and said, let none regret that they find it hard to surrender. I fought my master for 6 long years and know every inch of the way, every inch of the way. He fought his master again and again. Then Sri Ramakrishna wanted to impart the highest Nirvikalpa Samadhi to Narendranath on the first day of his meeting by divine touch. Narendranath saw the entire world as whirling around, and the world and the surroundings and he himself, his ego, his littleness, everything was vanishing into some kind of a void, and unable to bear this vanishing of his little ego and individuality, He cried out, Ogo, ki korcho, amar baap ma ache. Remember the Narendra, who thought about himself as so strong, Baliyan. Just now we saw Veer Vivekananda. I am just presenting a contrast picture of Narendra, how he became to acquire this Viratva. Every one of us passes through these stages. What are you doing to me? I have parents at home. When the divine embodies itself as a human being, he or she is stuck to the individuality. Later on, Swami Vivekananda used to make fun of the Westerners. You Westerners are terribly afraid of losing your individuality, making fun of them. Then I asked Swami Vivekananda, what did you do, sir, when you were Narendranath? You also cried. It is not easy to give up one's individuality and merge in the universality. You see the parallel in Bhagavan Bhashyakara Shankaracharya's commentary in the Kathopanishad. Esha sarveshu bhuteshu gudhotma naprakashate drishyate tvagriya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshibi. It's a remarkable verse. This Atman cannot be known by the mind, by the senses, but it can be intuited. Drishyate tu agriya buddhya, by a buddhi which is extremely sharpened, purified. By whom? Sukshmadarshibihi, those who are habituated to seeing that which is subtle and subtler and subtlest. There Bhagavan Bhashyakara Shankara Bhagavatpada writes, Oho adigambhira duravagahya vichitra chayyam maya yadayam sarvo jantuhu paramarthada paramatma swarupo api evam bodhyamano api aham paramatma iti na grinhati anuchyamano api aham amushya putra iti grinhati. Remarkable is this Maya, by which, although constantly being told by the Guru and the Shastras that you are identical with the Supreme Spirit, this embodied being does not accept that he is the Paramatman. Although not being told, he accepts himself as the son of so and so. I am the son of Vishwanath Datta. That's what he cried. How he tallies with this Bharshya. What was Ramakrishna's reaction? He was somewhat confused, disappointed. And he thought to himself, am I catching on to the wrong person? I thought he's an Nararishi come down to earth. Why is he reacting like this? He wanted to find out the truth again. The next day when he came alone, to Narendranath, Dakshineshwar, Jodumallik's Bagan Badi, garden house, put him into a deep trance, deeper than the samadhi which he had experienced earlier. Narendra couldn't escape. He was trying to resist. Because this Pagol is coming and touching me, I should be extremely careful. But he lost himself, went deeper and deeper in his own realm of consciousness, whatever we don't know what it is. Then Ramakrishna says later, in that state I asked him many questions. Who was he? Where did he come from? What is the purpose of his coming? How long will he stay on this earth? And delving deep into his being, he answered these questions correctly according to my expectation. Then I knew he is that Nararishi Narayana. At every point Ramakrishna tested him, and the moment he knew he has caught hold of the right person, who he initially commissioned to come down. So Ramakrishna, being a very intelligent avatara like Sri Krishna, booked Narendra's coming even before he came. The booking was done, flight tickets were purchased, you have to come, I go, then you come. Then he saw Narendra is the man, he is my man, he will do my work. Although he never used the word my, ekankar, for this work, mother's work. But Narendra would have none of it. Narendra was the influence of Brahma Samaj. Let us go back to Narendra now. Let Vivekananda rest for some time. Influence of Brahma Samaj. And Sri Ramakrishna, being the extraordinarily intelligent avatar like Sri Krishna, was very fond of Keshav Chandra Sen. You know why? Because he will collect all the best specimens of his disciples from Keshav Chandra Sen's camp, hijacking them, cajoling them. Come to Dakshineshwar once. You sing so well, sing me a song. But he had great love for Keshav Chandra Sen. If the leader is caught, then the disciples also will all come. And how much love he showed Keshav Chandra Sen. রাত্রে হঠাৎ ঘুম ভেঙে গেল, কাঁদতে কাঁদতে মাকে বললুম, মা কেশবের যদি কিছু হয়ে যায় কলকাতা গেলে কার সঙ্গে কথা কইব? ঠনঠনিয়া কালী বাড়িতে ডাব চিনি মেরেছিলুম. He tells this to his devotees, and all the devotees are so happy. Oh, Sri Ramakrishna has so much love for our master. He was the influence of Brahma Samaj, and Sri Ramakrishna wanted to put Advaita into him. Look at the drama, how it unfolds. Narendra was Dasanudasa, brought up in the dualistic sadhana, king of kings. Raja Rajeshwara is a common phrase used in the Brahma Samaj towards God. Raja Rajeshwara Dekhade and so on. Then Sri Ramakrishna called him, closed the door, took a small book from below the pillow, then told him, please read this for me. Ashtavakra Samhita, one of the greatest books on Advaita Vedanta. Narayan reads a few pages and said, it's a blasphemy to call oneself identical with the Supreme Being. I will not read this. Ramakrishna knew how to cajole Narendranath. The greatest weakness of Nararishi, Narendranath, is that he will not do anything for himself, but sorrow of the human beings, problems of human beings, anything concerning Nara is placed before him, he will shed tears and melt. That was the trick which Ramakrishna played before him. আমি তো মুখ্য, আমি তো বুঝতে পারি না, পড়তে পারি না রে, আমার জন্য একটু পড়. Oh, not for me? Sure, then I will read. So Ramakrishna knew as he goes on reading, the ideas will go deeper and deeper into him. This is a significant characteristic of Shiva and characteristic of Nararishi. Nothing for himself. Swami Vivekananda later on wrote in the Shiva Stotram, Durita dalana daksham dakshajadatta dosham kalita kalikalankam kamra kahlarakantam parahita karanaya prana pracheda pritam nata nayana niyuktam nilakantham namamaha. Parahita paranaya prana pracheda pritam. For the sake of others, he can give up his life, not for myself. So Ramakrishna knew, just for my sake, you please read this. Till what he read went deep into him, converted him one of the greatest Advaitins of all time. That Narendra used to cry in the Brahma Samaj and sing, Tumi Tribhuvananath Ami Bhikhari Anath Kemone bolibo tomai Esho mama hridaye jabe ki di ramar. One of the very first songs which he sang, That Narendra says, I am the beggar in the street and you are the Lord of the three worlds. How can I tell you, O my Lord, that you come and sit in my heart? How can I tell you? That Narendranath, transformed in the paragon of Advaitis, later on rode from world platform. Never forget the glory of human nature. Buddhas and Christ are but waves of the infinite ocean which I am, thumping his chest. Ramakrishna quotes it in his book. What a transformation takes place. But remember, we are discussing Narendranath. It didn't happen in a day. He put Advaita into him because he comes from the realm of the indivisible, Akhandera Ghorer Lok, Ramakrishna says. But he has to work here in this world. His field of work in Khander Ghar, not Akhander Ghar. That realm belongs to Mahamaya, belongs to Shakti, belongs to Kali. Now, how to make Narayan accept Kali? He will not accept Kali. Once again, go back to the Brahma Samaj training. They will not accept any Murti Puja, any form. But how to make Narendra accept Kali? Look at the Nara Narayana Leela unfolding. Narayan's father passed away. Vishwanath Datta is so liberal to a fault. All those people who were under his patronage, anytime they used to come, they would eat, they would sleep there. And so liberally Vishwanath Datta spent money on them. The moment his father passed away, all of them turned against Narendranath and the family. Mother was crying. Narendranath was singing at one time about the Goddess Kripamaya, Goddess all merciful. Then his mother Bhuvaneshwari became so cross. Tham! Ki korlen Bhagavan amader jonno? Baba chole gelen. Era sob eshe ghare boshe kheto. এখন সব বিরুদ্ধে চলে গেল ভগবান কি করলেন তোমাদের জন্য This sentence, it is recorded, entered deep into Narendra and then tore him to pieces. Yes, what did God do to me? Become an agnostic. It was reported to Sri Ramakrishna. Bhavanath came and told him, I could never imagine Naren will do like this. Naren is completely become an agnostic. He goes to places which are very questionable. This came to Narendra's ears. If Ramakrishna also believes this to be true, I'll never go to him again. When he heard the reaction of Ramakrishna, who said, Tor mukh dekhbo na, ma amake dekhiye dile Naren kokhono erokom hote pare na. I will not see your face again. Mother had showed me Naren will never go that way. When he heard, and I was in tears. Even one's parents will not have so much faith in their sons. Suffering and suffering. Can you imagine a person of Narendranath's caliber in those days? He could not get a small job of 5 rupees. He was teaching in Vidyasagar's school, and the students were made to complain against Narayan Master. Narayan Master porate paren na. Narayan Master Shikha dite paren na. About whom Sri Ramakrishna Lotira Narayan Shikha debe. One who is going to be the Jagat Guru of this Yugacharya could not teach the school children. That is the complaint. He lost that job. No food to eat. Very often he'll go without food. And the mother and the brothers are starving. Could not find anything. Helplessly he came crying to Sri Ramakrishna. Look at the Nara and Narayana Leela unfolding. Sri Ramakrishna, such a tough avatara. Come. I was just waiting for this moment. Aapne to maa ke bolun na aap parchine. Please tell your mother, I'm unable to bear this suffering anymore. My mother and brothers are suffering like anything. তুই মাকে মানিস না রে, সেই জন্য এটা কষ্ট. He gave him such a powerful rejoinder. Narendra cut to quick. আমি কেন বলবো যা আজকে মঙ্গলবার ভালো দিন, মাকে যা চাইবে দেবে। Well known stories. Nara went there, could not ask anything. He saw the living, palpable, tangible, luminous form of mother and said, Ma, mother, give me vairagya, give me viveka, give me bhakti, and came back. Any other guru would have been very happy because the disciple is asking for viveka, vairagya and bhakti rather than anything which is worldly. Not this guru. Ascharyo vakta kushalasya labdha. He was extremely irritated. He could not ask for, go again. Second time he went, could not ask, forgot. Third time he asked, give me bhakti, give me vairagya, etc. Ramakrishna said, you will, the minimum necessities of life you will have. Then Narendra said, please teach me a song. Ma Tvam Hi Tara, the famous song. Whole night he sang the song, and in the morning he was resting. That was a moment of great rejoicing for the Narayana and Leela. Whoever came to Ramakrishna that day, এই ছেলেটার নাম হচ্ছে নরেন, মাকে মেনেছে, নরেন কালী মেনেছে, ভালো হয়েছে না? People didn't know who is Naren, who is Kali, why is he so delighted? Went on telling everybody, Naren Kali meneche, Naren Kali meneche. Because unless he accepted Kali, accepted the Divine Mother who is presiding over the destinies of this relative world, Khandakar, not Akhandakar, Naren cannot work here and the Avatara Leela would not have been completed. Step 1. He was not satisfied with that. Naren should accept Ramakrishna himself as the avatara of Kali. Again he was struggling. Naren, অনেকে বলছে এর সম্বন্ধে অনেক কিছু, তুই কি বলিস? হাজার লোক বলুক, আমি যতক্ষণ না দেখবো আমি মানব না. Many people say about me that he is an incarnation. What do you say? That 1,000 people say, I will not accept unless I see. He laughed and went away. Ramakrishna was so happy, Naren did not accept him. Have you seen any guru saying this? Naren khap khola talwar. Kauke mane na, amakeo mane na. He was so delighted. This is the Ascharyo Vakta, Kushalasya Labdha, Nara and Narayana unfolding. Again and again he tried. At the last point of his life, prana was just departing from Sri Ramakrishna's body. Then Naren thought, now at this point, when he can't even speak, he has no strength even to speak. If he now clearly declares that he is an incarnation of God, I shall then accept. Sri Ramakrishna spoke clearly. Ekhono shandeho, je Ram, je Krishna, shei idaning Ramakrishna, কিন্তু তোর বেদান্তের দিকে নয়. Vedanta means, in Vedanta everybody is an avatar because the same Brahman present everywhere. The esoteric, mysterious doctrine of the avatara cannot be judged by the principles of Vedanta. Did Narayan accept? He promised he will accept if he hears it from Ramakrishna at the last moment. Ramakrishna said this. Did Narayan accept? The answer is yes and no. He accepted, perhaps tentatively, but then again the doubts come back. This is the Nara and Narayana Leela. You can see the parallel in the Bhagavad Gita, 11th chapter, first sloka. Mohoyam vigato mama. By your divine words, O Krishna, my moha, my delusion is all gone. This is Arjuna's statement. If moham is vigata, then why 7 more chapters were required? That can be vigata, can be agata also. Moha was not destroyed. Last chapter, 18th chapter, nashto moha smritir labdha tvat prasadan mayachyuta. My moha is now nashta, completely destroyed. Interesting leela of the Nara Narayana. Again, he is doubting, and Swami just suffered physically very much. The back pain was there and his stomach was misbehaving all the time. He could not digest properly. He once said, if only I could digest properly, I could have shaken the world, as if he did not shake it now. There is an interesting incident about Trigunatita. Swamiji was very fond of him, very younger in age. He told Trigunatita to take care of Udbodhan. Every time Trigunatita will run to Swamiji and ask him this and that, Swamiji fired him. I have given you the money, you throw it in the Ganges, I don't care. Like a child and a baby keep on coming and asking me, you do what you think is best, go. Trigunatita went away and did what he thought best. Swamiji called him and fired him. Why did you do it without consulting me? Amake jigyasha karo kolli keno? Apni to bolle namake korte. You should know how much to consult, when to consult. Then Trigunatita, he had a nasal tone, it appears. Naren, তোমার বুদ্ধিটা আমাকে দিতে পারো? নরেন সে শালা তোর পেট আমাকে দে তো, হজম করতে পারছি না, সেজন্য সারা জীবন কষ্ট পাচ্ছি. Suffered physically. He wanted to make his physique strong. He talks about physical strength much later on as Vivekananda. For what he was earlier we should know. Suffered and suffered. Hatha yogic techniques Ramakrishna did not teach me. I will learn these techniques, make my body strong. Somebody said, Pavahari Baba in Ghazipur knows Hatha Yoga techniques. He will teach you. He ran to Ghazipur to know Hatha Yoga techniques. And Pavahari Baba, being the humility incarnate, what does his servant know? Hey, Dash ki jane. He is not giving him the Hatha Yoga secrets. Day after day he goes and cries, he is not getting it. Then suddenly he thought, perhaps if I accept discipleship from him, then he'll give me these secrets. One should declare I am your disciple, otherwise he will not give. You can see the parallel in the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna is crying, Ashrupurna kulekshanam vishidantam midam vakya bhuvacha madhusudanaha. Second chapter, first shloka. Bhagavan is just waiting. He is severely thrashing him, klaibyam masma gamapartha, etc., not giving him any teaching, allowing Arjuna to go on collapse one by one. Finally he collapsed totally. Karpanya dosho apahadasvabhava prichhami tvam dharma sammudha jetaha yachreyasyan nishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham shadi mam tvam prapannam. I am your disciple. Please instruct me. I have taken refuge in you. Then only Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Ashocyanan Vashochastam, etc. begins. You should go to the Guru, Samitpani Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham, as the Upanishad says, and declare to the Guru, I am your disciple. Please instruct me. Please give me Upadesha. Then only the Guru will teach you. Nothing should be given without being asked, except one mantra, which is called Trisuparna mantra. Trisuparnam ayachitam brahmana yadadyat. It is so sacred, even ayachita, even without anybody asking you, you can give the Trisuparna mantra. That's what the Upanishad says. Then he thought, let me accept discipleship of Pahari Baba. Then he may teach me. He was sleeping at night. Next day, he will go and ask Pahari Baba, I will please take me a disciple and teach me. Then comes the luminous form of Sri Ramakrishna appearing, tears in his eyes, without speaking a single word. Nirvak, Anand, Chola Chola, Akhi, Gai Geet, Shunate Tumai. Later on he writes, he felt so ashamed. Naren, are you going to give me up? No, Thakur, no. Next day, again the thought comes. Again Sri Ramakrishna appears, luminous form, Nirvak, Anand, Chola Chola, Akhi. 21 days Ramakrishna appeared. This is what is recorded. নরেনকে বসে আনতে ঠাকুর নিজের দেহ ত্যাগের পরে কি খাটান খাটতে হলো ওনাকে. Afterwards, they completely gave up the idea and said, Sri Ramakrishna now is without any parallel. This saint may be highly advanced, but no comparison with Sri Ramakrishna at all. He completely surrendered to Sri Ramakrishna. Then came the day when he will do the mother's work. He was refusing and refusing. Sri Ramakrishna said, Korbi na mane, tor hard korbe. See the parallel in the Bhagavad Gita. Yad ahankaram ashritya nayotsiti manyase mitchesha vyavasayaste prakritistvam niyokshati. In the Gita, the Bhagavan is speaking in Sanskrit, and here our avatar is speaking in Bengali. This is the only difference. Exactly the Nara and Narayana Leela, you can see. Ramakrishna forced Narendra to do his work. Please give me Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Remember the kind of anguish one will feel if he is brought down from the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, where he was immersed in the Saptarsha Mandala, and asked to take charge of the work. Same problem with the present trend, or authorities of Belur Math will know. Maharaj, ami tapasya korte jabo, amari kaje lagachen. It is not anybody's fault. It was done by Ramakrishna himself first. Late President Maharaj Parampujya Swami Smarananandaji once said, when Mahant was there, I was in his room, his chamber, Maharaj, keyo kaaj korte China, sob unwilling. Then Smaranandaji smiled and said, Vivekananda was the first unwilling worker of our order. Don't remember that. Give me Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Constantly pressing him. Kashipur. Suddenly, by the grace of Sri Ramakrishna, Narayan got Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And then, where is my body? He could not find his body. Then he comes to Sri Ramakrishna, who tells him, now the mother has shown you everything. This experience will be locked up in a box, and the key is with me. I don't know where he kept his key, because he never used to wear any cloth also. Key is here with me. When you have finished my work, I will open it for you. Very strange. In this particular case, he uses Amar Kaj Jakhon Korbi. I checked with Gambhiranji, I checked all the biographies. He does not say Mayar Kaj. In this particular instance, I don't know why. Amar Kaj Jakhon se shobe, ma afar khuliye diben. Narendra was so upset. He tried and tried, that box couldn't be broken. Somebody said, Paware Baba has a duplicate key. I will go and get that key and open. He could not. Finally, he was crushed. His ego was pounded. He had to surrender and do his work. Later on, he said, am I doing this? When Yogananda protested on the 1st of May 1897, do you think I am doing this? Whom used to call Kali, he entered into me before he passed away, and helplessly he is making me do all this work. What can I do? If he uses my body and mind to do his work, what can I do except surrender to him and do his work? All of you be helpers in his work. So all of us who are brought here, all the devotees and monks and brahmacharis, are all participating in the great Nara and Narayana Leela, where Sri Ramakrishna commanded Narayan to work. Yo dharma sthapana rato how Ramakrishna samagyaya. With the agnya of Sri Ramakrishna, he was made to do this work. Constantly blindfolded. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, when Narayan will know who he is, what is real Swarupa, one moment he will not continue in the body anymore, and he will give up the body in Samadhi. End of his life, many disciples were around. He was full of fun and frolic and jokes. Suddenly one of them asked, Swamiji, do you know your real nature? That was post Amarnath, where Swamiji said, he gave me amaratva and ichamrityu, to die at will. Then Swamiji became extremely serious. Yes, I know now. the hush of silence everywhere, and people knew Swamiji's body will not last long. But he said, I may give up this body like a worn-out garment, but I will not cease to work. I will help humanity till it knows that it is one with God. We believe He is still there, working for everybody's welfare, not only spiritual welfare, but Abhyudaya and Nishreyasa. We should remember the Vedanta which Swami Vivekananda taught integrates Abhyudaya and Nishreyasa, the worldly prosperity as well as spiritual emancipation. As he himself said, Atmano Mokshartham Jagat Hitaya Cha. Bhagavan Bhashyakara Shankara Bhagavatpada writes in the Gita Bhashya, in the Upodkhata Bhashya, Praninam Sakshat Abhyudaya Nishreyase Hetu Yaha Sadharmaha Jagatasthiti Karanam. Both Abhyudaya and Nishreyasa, both Pravritti Lakshana Dharma and Nivritti Lakshana Dharma, both Paravidya and Aparavidya, both Shreyas and Preyas are integrated into one homogeneous, complete whole without any hiatus as Vijnana Gana Ekarasam, homogeneous. Swamiji wanted that the Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, every one of these layers, which the Upanishad calls as Atman, Annamaya Atma, Pranamaya Atma, later on Shankaracharya converted into Kosha, which is not justified by the text at all. He knew that every one of these levels of the Atman should flourish, should expand, and human beings should become divine here and now. As Ranganathan used to funnily say, not post-mortem realization, here and now. Ihaiva tairjata sargo yesham samme sthidam mana. Ihaiva comes in the Gita in two occasions, 519, 523. Atra brahma samashnute. Shankara says, jivanneva ityartaha. Here and now you can realize yourself as the infinite self. Swamiji gave this great mantra, the highest Advaita teaching, even for solving the problems of Abhyudaya also. This unique message which he gave was called the practical Vedanta. Even worldly prosperity can be attained if you remember there were the Atman. Strange teachings from a great prophet, a religious person who said, if a student thinks he is the Atman, he will become a better student. If a lawyer thinks he is an Atman, he will become a better lawyer. If a fisherman thinks he is a fisherman, he will become a better fisherman. Not that he'll catch more fish. But the power of the Atman should be brought to bear upon everything. And his famous words, astounding, devastating, revolutionary words. With the power of the Atman brought to bear upon matter creates material development, brought to bear upon the mind creates mental development, and acting on itself creates spiritual development. Theses will be written later on this, where the differences between Abhyudaya and Nishreyasa, between Pravritta Dharma and Nivritta Dharma, between Shreyas and Preyas have been completely obliterated, as in the case of the Bhagavad Gita, as taught by Sri Krishna to Arjuna. And he gave this great message to us and said at the end of his life, if there had been another Vivekananda, he would know what this Vivekananda has done to this world. And added, but how many more Vivekanandas may come? Swamiji was an inveterate optimist. He never believed he was the last prophet. He said, Utpatsyete asti mama kopi samana dharmaha kalavhyayam niravadhi vipula cha prithvi. Quoting from Bhavabhuti, somebody will come from among the disciples and the followers of Ramakrishna who will be able to understand me, and added, who will be like me. Swamiji's greatest sorrow, I feel, is that nobody could understand him. Only people who understood him was Ramakrishna himself and of course Sarada Devi. How many people can understand Swami Vivekananda? So we need not try to understand him, but anudhyana, think about his glory. From the beginning of his life, how he struggled and how utterly unselfish he was. And he said, if there is any God, unselfishness is God. Your little self should go. All the yogas, jnana, bhakti, karma and Raja Yoga meet at one point, which he said, complete self-abnegation. Let us all pray to him to eliminate completely, powder and crush our egos, little egos, and replace it by the infinite ego, which is the Viradami, the Lord, so that we will be most faithful servants of Ramakrishna Vivekananda, following their words with purity, with holiness, with faith, and die for his cause. Not working all the time, because the time comes when work will drop and the Lord takes over. Thank you.